and gentlemen, today is the release of a book so awaited, written by two women that survived through World War II. There are high expectations because it's the first one that especially explains why the women are what they are today. For the occasion, we invited the two authors of the book. One comes from Canada and the other is from Europe and traveled all around the world. They're going to tell us about their experience and the effects of war had on women like them. Have a good show on Dot Channel. Hi, Mrs. Parent and hi, Ms. de Marseille. First of all, can you tell us about how women lived before the World War II?
Well, women were depending on their husbands. They couldn't vote. They had to stay at home to do the household work.
Yes, and they were not working in factories or in farms.
Only 600,000 women were having a permanent job before the war started. During the war, their number doubled to 1,200,000. Where were they working when the men were at war? Except the war jobs.
Canadian women stayed at home to take care of their families, farming the land, and take the job left unoccupied by servicemen. Canadian women worked in factories, on airfield and on farm with men. They built parts for ships, airplanes, and manufactured ammunition. It was the first time that the female participation was that high. Canadian women showed their skill, ability to do the work that men did.
During war, we noticed that the women were more stressed than before. Why were they?
Because they have to take care of their families, and they also have to take the job left by men. For example, I have 9 sons. They all went to war or away in factories. So I draw the structure, plow the field, and I work in factories. So in summary, I have to do the job that usually 9% were doing.
Oh my God.
So I was very stressed because I wanted all the work to be well done.
Oh my God. Ms. de Marseille, what were you doing during the World War II?
I worked in a factory, but it was too far from my home, so I had to move closer. I was making airplane pieces, and one day I got fed up of my work and my home, so I decided to travel to help wounded soldiers. I became a nurse, and I had to work under pressure. And I was scared of epidemic because of our bad hygienic conditions. We had also awful working conditions.
Were you paid a lot in the factory?
Well, I earned 2.15 euros a week. It seemed a lot for me, but men were doing the same work and were paid much more. This was unacceptable, so in 1943, we manifested at the Rolls factory in Glasgow. But this was seen unpatriotic at the war, so people threw us eggs and tomatoes. The people quickly stopped when they realized how small we were paid. So finally, the women had a little victory, because when we came back to our work, we were paid more. Not as much as the men, but better than before.
Athletes. I know that a lot of women went to war too. Do you know a little bit about their job?
Yes, a lot of my friends went to war or helped for. They knit socks and mitts and prepare packages for Canadian overseas, and helped people moved by the war by giving them clothes and building for them refuge centers. They gave food to the army. In 1941-1942, the military was forever changed as they created their own women forces. Women, for the first time in our history, were now able to go to the war. More than 50,000 women served in the army forces during the Second World War.
Did the war force some women to do things against their value in order to survive?
Yes, because when I was in Iraq, I saw a lot of women that needed to prostitute themselves to earn some money. I'm still glad not having to do this and to have enough money to buy food and other stuff to survive. Those women were also selling their jewelry and other property.
Oh, poor dear. It must have been so difficult to see all this sufferance. I heard a lot of stories about the health of women during the war. How would you describe it?
Because of male domination, women were were not periodized, so they were poorly nourished. Once I was poorly nourished, but it was because I didn't want my children to be hungry. At that time, my husband was at war, so it was very difficult.
Well, I saw a lot worse all around the world. They call it the new strategy of war. It was unhuman and sexual assault. The men raped women during the war. They said it was an inevitable part of that war. Because of that form of war, I got pregnant. And I was in Bosnia, and I have to have a cesarean without anesthetic. Because the healthcare was destroyed also. So there wasn't a lot of doctors that were practicing this because it was too dangerous. And I couldn't really have a child during the war. It was really too risky.
So we can see that the society has changed a lot during the war. But what were exactly the effects of World War II on women?
In general, the consequences of war on women were all the sadness caused by the death of men. But in the World War II, it was different. On top of that, the society changed a lot, especially in Canada.
And since the women were in a survival situation, every day and everything, including water, food, electricity, and fuel, they started learning how to live with the minimum and to do big things with almost nothing.
They became more independent during the war because they had to do men's jobs and they get used to do everything alone, right?
Yeah, the women have work now and have stable jobs because there are more jobs available, and since men were at war, and we were better paid, not as much as men used to, but better, and the money that we earned was our own benefit.
Yeah, and also women and girls raped during the war, sometimes more than once, were mentally affected. This trauma caused a lot of social problems between men and women, especially in East
Since
Europe.
women became not used to do their traditional jobs, there was a new idea of a woman more strong and more connected to the world reality.
So the World War II allowed the society to make a big step in the equality of men and women, right?
Yeah, because we started to be allowed to be seen in manifestation, public spaces, and even in the army. The man domination was now threatened. And finally, the women obtained the right to vote because of their help and their participation to war. So this was a big step for the women's liberty.
So thank you, Mrs. Parent and Ms. Marseille. I'm really excited to read your new book. And that's it for today. So this closed today's documentary. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for watching. See you tomorrow. It was Eve Marchidon on the channel.